Hey everybody, what's going on? Man, I'm fucking tired, and you might be too if you find this shortly after I've uploaded it. But the election finally is now over. Donald J. Trump is now the 45th president of the United States of America. It was a tight race. The whole time I was watching it on the New York Times electoral projections map. He had a really great lead in Virginia for a long time, but towards the end, Clinton took it back. And Pennsylvania, man, Pennsylvania kept going back and forth. It only got declared maybe around 1 o'clock this morning Eastern time, and it was ridiculously fucking close in Pennsylvania. You're talking about around 60,000 votes ended up making the difference. So that was one of the big surprises. The other big surprise, of course, was that Michigan and Wisconsin, which were two states that I didn't see anybody expect were going to be in play in the way they did. Although it makes complete sense in hindsight that they were. They eventually went to Trump's side. So even though he ended up losing Virginia, didn't end up getting Colorado like some people expected, he still pulled out a victory. Technically speaking, the election, I guess, is still going on. I'm looking at the map right now. New Hampshire, it's 47.5 Clinton, 47.4 Trump. 7% of the precincts have yet to get called in. So I'm about to go to bed, but it could go to Trump too. Minnesota as well is also still in play. That's about 5% left. The only reason why I think that there's a very remote chance it could swing to Trump is because the remaining precincts that have yet to call in, one's from Cass County, that's going to be a deep red state, and the other one is from Dakota County, which is going to be a bit split with a slight lead for Clinton. So I don't expect it, but Minnesota might squeak out to Trump by 0.1%, maybe 0.2%. It will be a squeak. For some fucking reason, they haven't declared Arizona. I have no idea what the fuck they're smoking. Arizona was never not going to go red. I can assure you that. I don't have a whole lot to say. I'm clearly very happy. I started this channel, thinking that there's a lot of the, red pill subjects out there, and I'd spent a long time, a couple of years, watching all these videos, kind of absorbing all this information. And I thought, well, I've yet to find anyone who gave what I thought were the most accurate viewpoints when it comes to understanding human beings as they are. What ended up happening was that this basically turned into the Donald Trump program. And once in a while, the Shit Hillary Says channel, too. So that's probably going to change. I'm going to focus a bit less on politics, a bit less on current events, and maybe start talking about things that are more abstract, more idea-focused, which is what I want to do with this channel in the first place. All I have to really say is that regardless of whether or not Trump won tonight, it's great that he did. But even if he lost, the movement that's been created in this country is not going away. Not to get too Marxy on you, and I'm surprised to hear myself saying this, but there is a certain class consciousness that's now been reached with a lot of working class people. There is a new patriotism that is growing very rapidly in this country, and it's a force that is desperately needed, I think, in order to get our nation and our people back on the right track. So even if Donald Trump delivers on all of the promises he's made, he builds the wall, he renegotiates the trade deal, he cooperates with Russia to defeat ISIS, regardless of how much any of that is accurate, what I would just tell you is never to put all your faith in anyone looking for political office. Once they're in, for all intents and purposes, they're now out of your control. And I think the thing that you can control the most is yourself and your own life. So I don't expect this to be too much of a problem, but don't don't get complacent now. This is not the end. This is going to be at least a very interesting next 4 years, because this country's never had somebody quite like Trump in the position of the executive branch before. Excuse me, of the executive office. Somebody with no political experience whatsoever, wanders into politics a year and a half ago, and has managed to earn the most powerful single office in the world at the moment. That's an extraordinary feat. But don't put all your faith into Trump, because maybe he's a liar. I think every way you could rationally analyze the candidates, you would come out to see that Trump is most certainly sincere in what he says. But you have to anticipate that maybe you're mistaken. Maybe he really is just that fucking crazy. He's just a megalomaniac, and it turns out all the critics were right. In that case, the person who's going to help you and get yourself through any of the troubles you have is yourself. It's not going to be a politician. And as for this country on a wider scale, again, like I said, don't get complacent now. Don't quit shit posting. Don't quit stirring up conversations that need to happen. Don't quit challenging people's faith in this corrupt, broken machine that we have now stampeded into. Hopefully I won't have to be so rude, I guess you could say, to how our political system is doing. Hope one day my opinion can change, but there's no guarantee Trump can ever really change that. I think that's a much longer term process. So I think getting this country back on its feet, back in a position of prosperity and safety, it's a project that's going to take a lot longer than 4 years of a guy in the White House. But I think we should be proud of this moment, because what we've done is that we've proven that you can't just lie your way into power anymore. That the stranglehold that the media wields over the common people is no longer absolute. With effort, with courage, with determination, it can and has been broken. And let me tell you something. There is absolutely no way I see any of these media outlets ever regaining nearly the amount of credibility they once had in the eyes of the voters, in the eyes of the people, in the eyes of everyday citizens. They have spent all of their slander, all of their inaccurate reportings, all of their lies. They've spent them all. The cannons are empty. They've got nothing left. The salt will be great, and it will be nice to witness. I think I'm going to have a nice, enjoyable next few days shit posting on CNN as an anon, just seeing how many people I can trigger. I think that's how I'm going to enjoy the brief honeymoon period that we have before Trump gets sworn in next year. There's one last quote I want to leave you guys with, because I think it is incredibly potent and it's incredibly relevant to our current situation. And by us, I mean the American people. Now, this is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end. But it is, perhaps, the end of the beginning.